the worst thing is you just have this like insatiable desire to then apply the yucky chapstick. Gainz Nation question. Also, happy New Year. Have you ever dropped your chapstick like when you're sweeping or you're like vacuuming and you drop it on like a yucky carpet after you just like dumped like a big old bag of oil or something disgusting like that, and you just like you pick up the chapstick and it's just got like little like hairy bits on it. Yeah, not good times. Not good times. Excuse me.
I'd probably suggest you get like a knife or something, or like just scrape off the top layer, because that's what I'm probably gonna do. But I didn't. I don't know why I had the cap open. I don't know why I just did that. But I just was like, all right, well, let me just. I think I only dropped it on a little bit, but it's just one of those. I have also a big chapstick too. Here's like the standard size chapstick, and I have like a huge one. So, is that doing something?
It did something, yeah.
did I unlock something new? Wait, that was with the chapstick.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
Oh man, I really hope that saves in the video. Holy cow. Gainz Nation, I really hope you guys watch the video instead of just listen to the audio, because I think the video just is a lot better.
Are you outside right now, buddy?
Yeah, man. I think I'm getting that free cold exposure. You know, my $2,000 ice tank is on its way, but you know, I'm just sitting here in the cold.
$2,000, and it's like $125 like metal like tank that like they bought from Home Depot and it's resold. They marked up like 2,000%.
Yeah, they Huberman had a recent guest on like cold immersion and all that. Dr. I forgot her name, but one of the guys that works out at the gym, he told me to listen to it and whatnot, and then I told him, I was like, oh yeah, I listened to the podcast, everything was good, and then him and I were talking about like the cold immersion tanks. I mean, it's a little bit better than what I was explaining with like the Home Depot thing. They actually have like ones with like filtration systems, and it's like crazy because the fact that it's like you could spend like a couple I think it's more than $2,000, by the way, but it actually like filters the water and whatnot and like brings it to temperature. So I think it's a little bit more. I think you probably might need like I don't know, maybe even a 240 line outside. So it's like I think it's a little bit more heavy duty than what we're thinking than like the standard ice barrel. But I told him simply, I'm like, if I had a lot more money than I did, sure, maybe I'd be in a float tank like Joe Rogan, sitting in salt water 2 hours a day.
That would be so far down my list. Like, I can't even fathom like spending that kind of money on something like that, because it's just like I don't know, it wouldn't get used as much as it should. You know, like that's the cost of like a used vehicle, in my opinion. But I'm a cheap old school salesperson. So as my brother likes to say it, like I could talk like anybody like off a cliff, you know, because you're just like, I need to get this guy to stop talking to me.
Yeah. And and this guy at the gym, I talk to him all the time, and he's in like pretty good shape. I mean, he runs like 10K, 15Ks. He lifts like pretty hard. And it just goes back. I think it goes back to the original point, right? It's like all these are not like, and we've said it before, they're not the blue pill or the red pill like you see in the Matrix. There's something that could help you, right? It's like that. It's something that could be like awesome to have. Like Roman said, it's probably like for me, like that's probably. I mean, if anything, I'd spend my money on like a sauna in my house, like that. I think I like heat therapy a little bit more. Just because we're in cold areas. So it's like, I don't know, I think Roman and I can get some pretty good cold exposure. And I do get the difference between like, total water exposure to your neck compared to like being out here, with my coat off, it's like, I know there's a difference, but it's like, I'd rather have like a sauna, where we live. So
do you think that there's like, do you think that there will be some like data that comes out in the not so distant future that kind of refutes like a lot of the stuff that we've talked about? Like sauna seems to like continually get more and more data to suggest like its benefits. But like with like cold exposure therapy, for example, I think most people actually probably use it inappropriately. Like I still like I watched have you seen Last Chance U on Netflix?
No, I have not. No.
It's about Laney College in California. They're like a JUCO. They're like a junior college. So like it's in Oakland. So all the kids that like might or like young adults that might go there, like they might come from like tough living conditions. Like they might like their neighborhood might be in a neighborhood that like they frequently hear gunfire. Like parents might be like low to moderate income type situation. Like it might not be like a a solid like familial like foundation. So it might just be like one parent in the household. There might be zero parents in the household type situation. So it kind of follows this like ragtag like group of like young men playing college football at Laney College, and like sees like what's going on with them, about their lives, etc. Like are they able to like move into D1? Can they like eventually ascend into the NFL, that kind of thing. And one of the trainers, he like always is recommending ice, and like I think the season that I watched was like in 2019.
For like ice for what though? What
sports related injuries.
Oh, okay, I just was making sure just to see what you're talking about.
And like that's one of those things that like we've talked about like a number of different times. Like don't take our word for it. Like talk to Aaron. Look at Aaron Horchig, Squat University, to like expound on like why rice is like an outdated method. You still see this kind of
not the rice that you eat. That's still a good method. If you can digest it well and all that, that's still a good method. I like that.
Yeah, it's like the one part of rice that might still be like salient is rest, but it's like rest, ice, compression, elevation. The ice, compression, elevation, all those things probably detrimental to your healing, and it's super fascinating. Like because it's something that like I have just kind of intuited for a long time. I don't really know how to say otherwise, but it goes similarly with like ibuprofen or Tylenol. So like any type of like pain reliever or like inflammation reducer for sports related injuries. I'm not saying that they don't have a use. They certainly do, but like time and time again, from what I've seen, like studies suggest that like pain relievers might have a detrimental effect for younger populations in regards to reducing inflammation for sports related injuries. We're not talking about like like headaches or anything along those lines. We're talking specifically sports related injuries. And what like I've kind of hypothesized, and it's seeming to come true. So there's nothing special about me like thinking this. It was something I intuited a long time ago. That by reducing the inflammatory markers that like might flood to like your elbow, if like your let's say like your elbow is like hyperextended, like you don't have any broken bones in like the elbow joint, no torn ligaments or anything along those lines. It's just like kind of tender and whatnot. Former conventional wisdom would say just like wrap it in ice, for example. And what those inflammatory markers end up doing is they're signaling to the tissues, to like the collagen in your tissues and your tendons, to like the muscles themselves, to be able to like start the healing process. And by adding ice, I believe you're blunting the electrical signaling. And I take that all the way back to like fluid dynamics with electronics. I could be totally wrong. It could be like different like feedback loops and mechanisms that are like beyond my present knowledge. But per usual, straying from the topic, buddy. Just cut it there. It's been a long time since we've put up a game podcast.
I'll have to look at that. I'll have to look at that show, buddy. So but no, that's interesting. No, but I don't care. It's like you're like typical stray from the game. Man, Gainz Nation, man, we're good, man. Happy New Year. I did do a coffee chat on just like getting, obviously the same old thing we spit every year. Get everyone that that is trying to get a healthy goal. I mean, dude, there's some close friends to me that just want to just start getting healthy, right? Like just get on the Peloton, start eating healthier, stop drinking beer 3 days a week. I'll maybe try once a week, stuff like that, guys. It's the same old stuff every year. It gets kind of boring talking about it, but it doesn't get boring when we hear new faces, new ideas, new things when it comes to trying to help you guys out. So I think I said it in the coffee chat, like if you guys have any goals this year that you need help on, please hit up Roman and I. We would love to help. And honestly, I think this year is going to be a big one for Roman and I think we're going to do a little bit better. The end of the year was just hard for both of us. We had a lot going on in our lives and a lot of things going on. Message us to see, if you want to hear more about that. But we're not going to talk about it on the podcast. So, but Roman's been cutting wood. I just been sleeping outside, sitting outside this whole time. So, but Roman, what do we got going on today? What is live program? What do you want to talk about today? And then we'll kind of get into it because I want to make sure we get to the point. No faking. Cooking MCs like a pound of bacon. Today.
I think I gotta take off the blur.
I like how as I say, I like how everything did blur and then the writing and everything blurred.
I feel like it's upside down. It's showing upside down, right?
It says Roman likes to make gains. That's all I read.
I don't know why it's showing upside down, but anywho, I'll go over it. But what I wanted, we wanted to do for you today.
And make sure too, Roman, we'll post that picture of that sheet too, just to get some of those notes. I bet people would love to, try to see what's going on with those notes too, right? I mean, if they could read it, that is.
Yeah, so I'll go over it really quick. So in real time, we're going to go over how to program for Roman in 2024 to get maximally jacked. Probably not maximally jacked, but if we could have like a little bit of progress, then I'd be super happy. So we start at the top. I just put Gainz podcast, live programming example, focus areas. So some of the focus areas that I have for 2024 are increased back strength. When I did a Spartan with my buddy Joe back in, I believe it was November at this point, but it could have been October.
Everyone knows Joe on the podcast.
Yep, everyone knows Joe. He's on like episode 6 or 7 or 10 or something like that. Early on. Meet Joe. Go back and check it out. Really good dude. One thing that I realized, I really struggled towards the end of the Spartan in climbing up a rope, which I had done with relative ease the year before. So there are some other indicators, but that's just like a quick anecdote as to why I believe I need to increase my back strength. Mostly it'll probably be through like hypertrophic movements, but you'll probably hear and see eventually a lot of like vertical pulling. So up and down is what I'll be working on. So another thing I have more like bodybuilding focus is bring up my shoulders. I think I've like started to like hit like a nice development in my shoulders, but I want to continue to bring up my shoulders. And then the last area of focus that I put down, I guess we'll say for 2024, are maintain or grow all of their major like muscle groups. So nothing crazy. I'm not like trying to get like, I'm not trying to focus on my chest development. I was thinking actually about focusing on like leg development. So quick aside, this is starting to become a tradition for me, I guess. But at the start of the year, usually the first or second, somewhere around there, within the first week, I'll take progress photos. Nothing crazy, like front double bicep, back double bicep type situation. We'll spin around, show you the guns.
And you only post this to your OnlyFans, right?
Yes, it's only on my OnlyFans. It's Romy Cake 69. But
Romy Cake.
Man, I hope we don't have any under like 14s on this channel. If so, make sure you run this episode by your mother from here on out to make sure that she can let you continue it out. But one area that actually I'm pretty proud of, and it surprised the heck out of me.
So did you take these photos already too? I
took the photos already.
Okay.
My legs, much more full in 2024 than in 2023. They were definitely a little bit more cut. Like I wasn't lean, but I was definitely leaner in 2023 than I am now. Only by about like 2 or 3 pounds though, which is so funny. But my legs were like much more full, like much more full. And I didn't work out at all. Both times didn't work out. just natural lighting in my bedroom. So yeah, just an interesting aside. I think actually part of my upper body actually lagged a little bit though. It could be because like, I've got a few pounds, etc. Maybe I'm carrying water in a certain way, but it looks like
too, you were kind of doing things too, like you were biking a lot more, you were running a lot more, you were doing obstacle course races. So I think a lot of that kind of naturally builds the lower body. I mean, yeah, some of the things like obstacles will kind of keep that upper body going, but like, I think there's still, I mean, like my brother who's he pretty much cycles instead of runs now. I mean, he sent me pictures and his legs look great. I mean, he still lifts like 2 or 3 days a week. So I think naturally your legs are just going to grow from those activities. And you're doing pickleball and stuff too. So like you're on your legs moving and, still doing all that. So
a lot of, start, stop and cutting. Like sometimes it's possible. Like some people believe that like, not like when you get into like certain levels of like leg development. But I'm not like, I'm not like I wouldn't be placing in a 212 or something like that, or a classic physique. Let's put it that way. But some people believe that like sprinting can be beneficial towards hypertrophy is what I was getting at. So next, what I did on this sheet of paper, I was thinking of just doing it blank, but this is just kind of gives us some guidelines. Again, I'll post it on the Gainz podcast. I'll even, I've been really bad, and I did it intentionally because I was just trying to like, purge from like being on Instagram for a bit. But your boy's back at it in 2024, helping to educate, motivate, get all our Gainz listeners to increase their Gainz strain. So next on the list, I put muscles per group. So I just wrote neck, side delt, rear delt, front delt, rear delt, front delt. Rear delt's going to be hit by a lot of back type movements, but I'd probably say like 2 to 4 sets. I'm like writing it now as we speak. 2 to 4 sets, like we'll say concentrated. And I'll know what I mean. But specifically what I mean is like probably like a rear delt fly type movement, whether it's like banded, which I have a setup in the basement. I can show you if you're interested. Just let us know. Drop us a DM.
That's one quick question. What you mentioned right there. So are you going to continue the basement lifts? Are you planning on adding anything into the basement, or are you going to try to make your way to a gym here and there this year? I just want to roll by you. You don't have to be long about it. You can just be quick.
I think I'm going to add a gym. I would like to add some more equipment, but we've got like a lot of like housing projects, which we're working on. Like we got a big bathroom remodel project, which we're going to be working on throughout the year. So like we have to like redo like drainage, like that kind of thing, yada yada, all this stuff. So anywho, probably won't be adding too much to the gym this year, but stay tuned. You never know. Mostly just gym stuff. So front delt, that's going to mostly be hit by like pressing movements, but unfortunately, like I've had some like flare-ups again with like my like inguinal hernia issue or lower left abdominal issue. Mostly my own fault because I've been playing pickleball so much and like probably harder than I should. So much of this can be hit by pressing, but I'm not going to be doing a lot of pressing. A lot of it's just actually push-ups. So a big focus, which I'll go over, like likely workout regimen is what I call it. But a big focus is going to be doing more calisthenic type movements this year. I can do bodyweight squats. What I mostly do is for time. So I'll pick a number, like I'm up to 70 reps, and I just like time it. I go like mostly slow in the reps, but it ends up being anywhere between like 2.5 to 4-ish minutes, depending on my pace. And I just write down my pace. So that's one of my quad hypertrophy movements that I'll use. Question, buddy.
Yeah, no, I was saying that's really great because I've only recently added them because of the Renaissance periodization, RP, that period I took of like a 6 or 7 week cycle of like as fast as possible, like push-ups, pull-ups, and I think it was just the push-ups and pull-ups, but I really like that stuff because I've been continuing to add it into my programming, and like the other day I hit like 25 to 30 push-ups in one set, and I was trying to reach like 60 to 70. So it's been really nice. I probably go on like the faster pace instead of slow, but like once I get to like the 30 plus reps. They're not really that fast in pace anyways. But it's been really nice, and I think that's a really good thing for you anyways, because I've been loving it lately. But keep going, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. And like one thing that like in many ways it challenges me because I love lifting heavy. Like I built up to like pulling like 200 pounds on the lat pull down. Like I'm 150, 160 pounds. Like the biggest I've ever been is like 178. And I was like repping 200 pounds. Like, man, I got crazy strong at one point. I was like, hey, 295.
That's probably something that you miss is the lat pull down machine.
Yeah, and that's honestly like a big motivator to get back into the gym. Like I love some lat pull. Like so much so I almost like completely like remodeled like the like where we have storage in the basement so I could get like a rack set up that had a lat pull down. Yeah. I would spend like $450 for something like that. Like that's a lot of money.
Dude, lat pull downs are one of my favorite exercises, I had to say, and also it's probably one of my favorite angles of like filming. It's just one of those things I never had trouble building. It's just like my lats never had trouble, so it's like I love it. So keep going. Sorry.
So yeah, that's like, I grew up in this old school like lifting mentality, where like you like lift till failure and then like you push beyond failure and whatnot. Like that was a big emphasis like in football, like growing up. It's like you hit the failure point and then your partner assists you with negatives. So they'll like assist you with the concentric and then you just resist against the eccentric, right? Or you might do like an isometric contraction till failure after you've hit like concentric failure. So like very old school mentality, like squat, power cleans, barbell bench press, like man, you name it, and we probably did it. It was mostly like trap bar deadlift, so we didn't do a lot of barbell deadlifting, but a little bit we did, a little bit. So anywho, so that was front delt. I will actually add in some. I'll put some front delt rise. Just because I've actually noticed, because I have reduced the amount of pressing, because when I set up for a bench, I really try to get as tight as possible, and unfortunately it just causes like some like pain in like the lower left abdominal area. So I mostly strayed away from it. What I've noticed is front delt development has gone down. Side delt is probably about the same, maybe a little bit of improvement this year. Rear delt maybe about the same as last year, maybe a little bit of improvement. Front delt is like I'm pretty convinced that I've actually like regressed in my front delt development. So I do want to add some pressing, or rather, some pressing. It'll probably be like moderate incline, maybe like 60 or 30 degree like incline, kind of like this, pretty much. Yeah. So not complete 45. So probably like 30 degree incline.
I love that incline.
And like higher rep probably. So I won't be as rigid. I'll just make sure that I keep my chest nice and upright. And my I'm really big about pacing recently. So that's another thing that I've really had to like hone in on, focus really in on that stretch. So like videos pending, but you're gonna see videos where I'm just like really accentuating that stretch and then slow, controlled explosion for the concentric, bring it down, really slow control, pause at the bottom, really feel that stretch across the chest. I can even feel it now. Oh my goodness. Oh, powerful but controlled concentric motion. So that's front delt. We covered some pressing. I'm going to add in some front delt rise. Just get a quick time check. We're going to cover chest. I want to add in some traps. My honey does not like those massive traps, but I want to beef up the traps a little bit. I think I could, thicken up the neck, thicken up the traps.
Yeah,
it's one of my goals.
Yeah, I think a quick note on that is if you do a gym, I would say get into those single farmer walks or the double arm farmer walks. Like if you get those, your traps will be on fire. I would just say like that. That's just something that I would suggest. That's if you're looking for big traps. I think I've always had fine problems. I mean, not problems, but fine dealings when it comes to that stuff. So.
Yeah, heck yeah. I definitely do enjoy some like some nice metrics. I'm probably gonna actually I like concentric, so I'm probably gonna add in some like some trap shrugs.
Oh yeah.
Or dumbbell shrugs.
Yeah, a little bit bent over and just get that in there. Yeah.
I do like single farmers carries for mostly grip work, which is like really important for OCR, obstacle course racing. But also, you are right. You can get a little bit of back development with them. So
and core strength too.
A quick note. I would probably for beginner lifters, intermediate lifters, and maybe it's a good refresher course for expert lifters. 3 phases to a lift. You have the concentric, which is essentially for we'll say chest movement, like barbell bench. That's going to be pressing the bar off your chest. Boom, concentric. You have an isometric hold at the top. You could have an isometric hold at the bottom. This would be an isometric stretched hold or stretched position. So if you're not watching the video, I've got the barbell, the imaginary barbell on my chest. We call this an isometric stretched position. Concentric, again, boom, pressing it off the chest. This would be isometric non-stretched position. And then as I'm lowering the imaginary barbell to my chest, this is the eccentric position. So again, concentric, boom, pressing off the chest. You have isometrics both at the top and the bottom, meaning the weight's not moving. And as the imaginary barbell, hopefully eventual barbell, dumbbell, kettlebell, maybe even, ooh, spicy, I know. Kettlebell is approaching your chest. We call that the eccentric movement. So the way Roman tears these up, eccentric, most important. So folks that are working on hypertrophy, you're trying to gain them muscles, I want you to slow that eccentric down. So if you're watching the video, I'm curling up an imaginary peanut-free, tree nut-free Snickers bar. So as opposed to keeping this pace right here, when you're curling up those dumbbells, I want you to slow it down. It doesn't have to be this slow, but I want you to slow it down. I want it to be about double the pace for the concentric. More like this, right? Explode. Boom. Next, concentric. Concentrics are important. They're important. Why? Because as we ambulate, as we move about our living space, we are forced to bring our muscles through concentric and eccentric movements. So concentric is super important. When you're pressing that barbell off your chest, again, we're going back to the barbell bench press, imaginary barbell again. Oh, we're bending that. We are strong here, Gainz Nation. We're pressing off our chest. Concentric is still important. Maybe not quite as important as eccentric. And then still important, not quite as important as eccentric or concentric, still important is the isometric. If you just get a nice hold, go back and watch Mountain Dog is the YouTube channel, RIP John Meadows, but watch his old videos. He would preach, hold dumbbells for chest press. It could be incline, it could be overhead press. He would preach isometric hold towards the end. And he would even force against you sometimes. Isometrics are still important, but that's probably how I tear them up. Eccentric, concentric, isometric. A little tip for y'all. We're running a little short on time, so we're going to go over the rest of this. And then, we might reschedule a second part 2.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, we could schedule a part 2.
Part 2. So we're covering the back, traps. We got glutes, quads, hamstrings, calves, biceps, tricep, forearms. We got sets anywhere from 4 sets all the way up to 10 plus. We're probably getting rid of that 10 to start. I'm getting around to the plus. We'll do 10. But we'll go over amending this because, man, we got too many sets. We're at 102 total sets. That's too many total sets, Gainz Nation. I forgot to add in abs. That's my note here. Right here. Boop, boop, boop. I don't know if you can see it because I think the camera reverses, unfortunately. But I'll post a photo of it. Don't you worry, Gainz Nation. That brings us up to 112. So I'm looking at between 4 to 6 sessions a week. At 4 sessions, adding in abs, we're at 28 sets per session. That's a no-no for Roman. I would love to be in the gym that long, but I'd probably be crawling out of there. My guts would probably be like pouring out of my abdominal cavity. This would probably be the last Gainz podcast episode. We got a lot of great content coming your way. So most likely we'll be looking at 5 to 6 sessions. We're going to be cutting down the overall volume, looking at closer to 19 to 22 sets per session. I added in some likely workout regimen protocol. So we're looking at least one calisthenic day, at least one full body day, one upper day, one lower day, one accessory day, and one running day. So that running day, it might like fit in this here, it might overlap with one of these days here. So most likely 5. We're looking at 5 to 6 sessions per week. It could be more if we break it down, but that's what we're looking at. So probably 4. I was thinking about doing 4 because I like spending time with my honey, but looks like my honey's going to be in the gym with us. Off limits due to some injury related material. No barbell stuff. So unfortunately, I have to stay away from barbell squats. Goblet squats were even a little iffy towards the end of the year. I had a big flare up because of goblet squats, unfortunately. I was getting strong with them too. So sad face. No barbell bench, no barbell deadlift. Everything else, we're going to be rocking and rolling with it. Well, this is actually a blank sheet of paper. So on the other side, we'll be crafting Roman's 2024 workout plan so that I can get maximally jacked. And we're going to bring all this content to you, Gainz Nation. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you guys for taking your time for last year and being with us and joining, celebrating us, supporting us. And we hope you guys have a great 2024. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.